Hello, and welcome to this review of the Royal Brotherhood historical romance book series by Sabrina Jeffries. I'm Olivia, your favorite resource for book recommendations you can easily screenshot, and you're watching Random Olive Reads. In the Prince's Bed is book one of the series. Recently inherited Earl Alec needs to marry an heiress and decides to seduce Catherine into marrying him. Alec has a semi tragic backstory, being the bastard son of a countess and the prince regent, but his mother was married to an earl, so Alec is legitimately the earl's heir. His quote unquote father hated him his whole life, so Alec has spent most of his time abroad. When he returns, he finds his estate totally impoverished and he needs some money fast. He enlists the help of his two half brothers, also sons of the prince, so that he can woo his way to an advantageous marriage. Catherine is set to inherit a fortune on her marriage, but she's hung up on her friend and almost but not quite fiance. Alec tries to convince Catherine to spend more time with him by saying they can scheme to make this other guy jealous. She goes for the ruse, but the whole thing is a mess of lying and deception, and then they fall in love for real, except for the lying that's hanging over their heads. The friend and not fiance has his own side story too, and hopefully we get to see that resolved somewhere down the line. To Pleasure a Prince is book two of the series. Marcus is a reclusive viscount who detests society and all its pretense, but he's worried about his sister Louisa's entry into society. He's also highly suspicious of the Duke that is courting her, believing it to be a scheme from the Prince Regent. That Duke's sister Regina comes to call on Marcus to ask him to allow a courtship, but they end up in a bargain of their own instead. The Duke is allowed to court Louisa if Marcus is allowed to court Regina, and then we begin a game where they test each other's boundaries with flirting and scheming. Regina is also hiding some big secret about herself and doesn't want Marcus to find out and use it against her. Loads of drama and intrigue here, and very entertaining to read. One Night with a Prince is book three of the series. Widowed Marchioness Christabel needs assistance recovering some incriminating letters that her late husband had stolen from her to pay off some gambling debts. Somehow, Gavin, the unacknowledged illegitimate son of the Prince Regent, is recruited for the job in exchange for a barony. In order to gain entrance to a house party, Christabel needs to pose as Gavin's mistress and learn to play an impressive game of cards. She thinks it'll just be a ruse, but Gavin is determined to make it a true liaison. There's a lot of push and pull here with Christabel's steadfast refusal, and she's generally confused by her newfound lustful thoughts. We get some added intrigue with all the scandalous card players at the party, and we get to see Gavin soften and truly care for Christabel. I loved seeing the strong willed nature of Christabel and how she was able to adapt to her new environment. So these three books are linked together by the three men who are illegitimate sons of the Prince Regent. I liked seeing their relationship develop over time, and these brothers truly develop a strong bond. Their partners in the series are strong willed and independent women, and I loved seeing these men let down their walls and fall in love. While the series moves in chronological order, these books all read just fine as standalones. This was an excellent series, and I highly recommend. Thank you so much for watching this video. Hopefully you found a book or three to add to your TBR. Links to all of these books are in the description box. Like and subscribe to get updates, and you can follow me on Instagram at randomolive.